successes. Let's take you back to our leading story. The ANC in Limpopo has re-elected Stan Mathabata as its provincial chairperson for the third term in office. Getting reaction to this, we're joined by political analyst Elvis Masoga. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Preparations ahead of the ANC Limpopo conference were turbulent, with concerns about the legitimacy of the event. Stan Mathabata, who's been the provincial chairperson and also premier for 2 terms, has been re-elected. Was this win expected?
No, thanks very much, Mpho. My humble greetings to you and all the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. Yeah, what a question. Yeah, indicators on the ground were there even weeks, back. The indicators were on the ground that Premier Chupu Mathabata stands a better chance of being re-elected. Remember, when you assess his performance as the Premier of Limpopo, you'll identify several strides and successes and breakthroughs. But at the same time, there were some challenges and failures. But an advantage with him is that, his breakthroughs and success far outweigh his challenges and failures. So it was very much likely that contesting against Dr. Dickson Masemola, it was quite clear that he will just, accumulate a landslide victory. And it doesn't imply that Dr. Dickson Masemola was a weak candidate, not necessarily. MEC Masemola has excelled as an MEC in Limpopo. He has done an exceptional job as an MEC, so it doesn't imply that because he lost, then it means he's a weaker candidate. The only challenge is that he was contesting against the premier who has registered so many successes and strides, as a leader of the ANC in Limpopo. So that's exactly what happened. The absolute majority of delegates at the ANC elective conference voted for Mathabata to continue as the chairperson. So it speaks to the kind of legacy that Chupu Mathabata leaves behind as the leader of the ANC in Limpopo.
Yes, as you mentioned, a premier who's registered many successes within his province. We know that he's already indicated that he would be facing that he will be serving for the last time and planning to leave in the next few months. What does this speak to when it comes to his political aspirations and perhaps where he will be placed?
Yeah, Mpho, one thing that I've identified also as a researcher is that when you clinically assess, perceptions on the ground, particularly within the ANC membership, it was quite clear that the absolute majority of leaders and members of the ANC in Limpopo actually want to elevate Mathabata to a national office. But they've realized that, to do that, it is better to nominate him at a time when he's still the provincial chairperson of the ANC in Limpopo. That is why they decided to develop, a tactical maneuver to say that even though Mathabata is not necessarily interested in third term, serving another 4 years as the leader of the ANC in Limpopo, but it is a tactical maneuver on the part of the ANC in Limpopo so that when the national conference of the ANC comes in December, Mathabata will still be in political office as the leader of the ANC in Limpopo. So, but after that, then there must be an immediate succession plan. And even Mathabata made it quite clear that he's not going to serve for 4 years as the provincial chairperson of the ANC. They are vying the coming national conference of the ANC. And it was escaping me as to why should you contest a leader who is on his way, because in 6 months he will no longer be the provincial chairperson. I thought maybe the two factions could have sat down and say, let us not contest Premier Mathabata because he's on his way. Come December in 6 months' time, he will be, if he wins as a national chairperson, he will be going to Little House. Then in that kind of a situation, there was no logic and wisdom in trying to contest him because he's on his way.
Now, this conference comes at a time when President Cyril Ramaphosa is now having to respond to charges relating to the robbery at his Limpopo farm. And perhaps as you and I speak, we know that about an hour or so ago, President Ramaphosa has sent out a statement reaffirming that he was not involved in any criminal conduct relating to the $1 million stolen at his Limpopo farm, also trying to reassure the nation that he's well on top of the developments of the country, looking and focusing on rebuilding the economy. How important is this Limpopo province for the president's own political career in the midst of the back and forth responses?
Yeah, as you have observed, particularly in relation to the unfolding of this elective conference, you are quite aware that the two different slates, the first slate led by Mathabata and the other slate led by Dixon Masemola, all of them, they are rallying behind the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa, even though there are two different factions, but they are united in saying Ramaphosa must get a second term as president of the ANC. And some people are making a misinformed and misguided analysis out of that. They are crediting President Ramaphosa for the unity of the ANC in Limpopo, and that is not the case. President Ramaphosa has got very little to do with the unity of the ANC in Limpopo, but actually the person who is the brains behind this unity is the provincial chairperson, Chukuma Tabata himself, because he's not a factionalist. The two rival factions in Limpopo have identified Mathabata as a political glue that binds them together. So it was Mathabata who actually appealed to the two rival factions in Limpopo to say that we may not see things the same, we may not have the same vision, but let us all support President Cyril Ramaphosa. And that's why, even today, two rival factions are united in saying Ramaphosa must serve as the next president of the ANC. So credit goes to Mathabata, not necessarily to Ramaphosa. Actually, Ramaphosa happened to benefit from the unifying qualities of Mathabata, because there is no any other province of the ANC whereby you can say you have got a provincial chairperson who is able to unite rival factions in that province. It is only in Limpopo. Two rival factions, because they see Mathabata as a unifier, they agree to support Ramaphosa. And that is something that people must understand.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for weighing in on these discussions. Political analyst Elvis Masoga.